Listen closely, and I mean really listen with every single fiber of your sovereign soul, because what I am about to tell you today has been intentionally, ruthlessly, and systematically scrubbed from the official history books and replaced with a sanitized, corporate, Hollywood-approved version of the truth. In the year 2026, the system loves to celebrate the hollow legend of John Wayne while desperately trying to bury the final, chilling, and deeply prophetic warning he left behind in his absolute last 24 hours on this earth. Andrew here, and today we are breaking the iron seal on the 74th vault of the Hidden Edge archives, the buried message. We are not talking about film scripts, shiny awards, or staged publicity stunts today. We are talking about the cold, hard, and terrifying reality of a man facing the final sunset and realizing that the very frontier he spent his entire life defending was being sold out to the highest bidder behind his back while he lay incapacitated. Everyone knows about the Duke's physical courage on the screen, but very few know about the specific, handwritten document he tried with his last bit of strength to send out of that hospital room in June 1979, a document that never, ever reached the public eye. They want you to believe he just faded away into the light. But the Duke was a fierce fighter until the very moment his heart stopped beating, and his final, desperate concern wasn't his personal legacy. It was your future, right here in the year 2026. He saw the thick, digital fog of control rolling in long before the internet was even a whisper in a laboratory. Doctor, record this opening protocol for the year 2026. The system's absolute greatest fear is a dying man with absolutely nothing left to lose, and a truth so raw, it can shatter their entire web of digital illusions. We are digging up that buried message today, and we are finally delivering it to the only people who can actually handle the weight of it, the sovereign remnant who still value the truth over the comfort of the cage. Get ready, partner, because the story you were told was a carefully constructed lie, and the truth we are about to uncover is far more dangerous to the machine than you can possibly imagine at this moment. The silence ends now. Analyze the sanitization of human history with me, because in the year 2026, if a message doesn't fit the approved, prepackaged narrative, it simply ceases to exist in the digital archives of the machine. We are decoding the hospital protocol with a precision that only the edge can provide. In those final, heavy hours, John Wayne wasn't just reflecting on old westerns or lost loves. He was obsessed with the terrifying idea of institutional betrayal. He saw the institutions he once stood for with such pride, the government, the media, the very fundamental soul of the nation, beginning to rot and decay from the inside out like a cancer more malignant than the one in his own body. He tried to warn his inner circle, his true brothers, about a coming time when grit would be systematically replaced by compliance, and when truth would be traded for the false promise of safety. In the year 2026, we are living in exactly the era he feared most, a world of ghosts and puppets. The message he tried to get out was devastatingly simple. Do not trust the structures. Trust the man standing next to you in the trenches, and trust the cold steel of the truth in your own soul. But that message was too raw, too rebellious, and far too sovereign for the image makers and the power brokers to allow to circulate. They took his final roar and turned it into a polite, weeping whisper for the sanitized documentaries you see on cable television. But Andrew knows that real grit doesn't wash off that easily, even under the pressure of 40 years of lies. Doctor, examine the Duke's hidden records on controlled narratives, how the machine managed to turn a fierce, independent, and dangerous voice into a harmless, plastic mascot for the masses to consume. In 2026, the only way to truly honor the Duke is to listen to the specific words they tried to delete from the record. We are looking at the blacked-out pages of his final testament today, and I can tell you, the ink is still wet with the fire of his defiance. They tried to bury the man, but they accidentally buried a seed that is about to explode through the concrete of the year 2026. In the third and most hauntingly technical layer of the 74th protocol, we address the sovereignty of time, the ultimate commodity that the system is trying to steal from you every single hour. In his final 24 hours of life, John Wayne came to a realization that changed everything. He realized that the ultimate currency of the free man isn't gold coins, and it isn't vast tracts of land. It is the time you have left to be a truly free man before the clock runs out. In the year 2026, the system tries to steal your time through 1,000 endless digital distractions, unnecessary debts that chain you to a desk, and the constant, vibrating hum of manufactured crises designed to keep you in a state of perpetual anxiety. They want you to spend your entire life building their digital cathedrals instead of fortifying your own sovereign stronghold. The Duke's buried message was a thunderous call to immediate and radical action. He realized, too late for himself, but just in time for us, that waiting for the right time to be sovereign is a fool's errand because the right time is always right now, in this very second, before the digital clock strikes midnight. In the year 2026, most men you see on the street are already the living dead, trading their most precious, unrecoverable years for a digital pension that won't even buy them a clean loaf of bread when the global grid finally fails. We are teaching you the final hour perspective, how to view every single decision, every transaction, and every relationship through the lens of a man who knows his days are numbered and refuses to waste a single, solitary second on the machine's pathetic lies. Doctor, record this. In the year 2026, a man's time is his only true, private property. If you allow the system to dictate how you spend your days and what you focus your attention on, you have already lost the war without firing a single shot. We are reclaiming our hours today, and we are doing it with the absolute urgency of a man who sees the sun dipping below the horizon and refuses to go quietly into the night. Analyze the doctrine of the eternal seed within the 74th protocol with me, because this is where the real power lies. In those final, agonizing moments in 1979, John Wayne wasn't looking at his bank accounts or his filmography. He was looking directly into the eyes of his children and the world they were about to inherit without him. His buried message contained a specific, battle-tested strategy for intergenerational resilience. He knew with a prophetic certainty that the system would eventually come for the families, trying to break the sacred bond between father and son and replace the father's hard-earned wisdom with the state's mindless indoctrination and digital dependency. In the year 2026, this sovereign family is the most radical, dangerous, and effective form of rebellion against the machine. The Duke's warning was clear and piercing. If you do not teach your children how to ride the storms, how to shoot straight through the lies, and how to tell the truth when everyone else is whispering, the world will teach them how to crawl and beg. We are decoding the bloodline perimeter today. While the masses are foolishly outsourcing their children's minds to flickering screens and state-run indoctrination centers, the sovereign man is building a living archive of grit, honor, and survival skills within the four walls of his own home. Doctor, examine the Duke's final, private instructions on cultural continuity, how he intended for the spirit of the frontier to survive even if the physical frontier was paved over with concrete, surveillance cameras, and digital checkpoints. In 2026, your legacy isn't what you leave for your children in a will. It is what you leave inside them through your daily actions and your refusal to compromise. We are planting the seeds of a massive rebellion today that will eventually grow into the giant oaks of tomorrow's freedom. The Duke's final fight wasn't for his own life. It was for the strength of the next generation, and that fight has now been passed directly into your hands. Do not drop the torch. We are closing this explosive, revelatory, and deeply operational 74th chapter with the final call to the frontier spirits. Look at the world around you in the year 2026. It is exactly the sanitized, controlled, fearful, and dependent place that John Wayne warned us about from that hospital bed in 1979. They think they successfully buried his message under 40 years of propaganda, but they forgot a fundamental law of nature. A message like that is a living seed, and the more dirt and lies you pile on top of it, the stronger and more explosive it grows when it finally decides to break the surface. As long as Andrew is broadcasting from these hidden vaults, as long as you are listening with a heart that still beats for freedom, the Duke's true, final roar will continue to echo in the hearts of men who refuse to be tamed or tagged like cattle. In the year 2026, you are the chosen recipient of a buried treasure, not a treasure of gold or silver, but of an unyielding, unbreakable spirit that refuses to bow to the machine's digital gods. John Wayne's final, Whispered lesson was simple but had the weight of a mountain. Talk low, talk slow, and don't say too much. But when you finally do speak, make sure your words have the tactical power to change the world and wake the sleeping. This is Andrew, signing off from the 74th vault of the Edge Archives, where the truth is never buried for long and the grit is always real. The system desperately wants you to be a forgotten, nameless footnote in their digital history. But as long as you carry the buried message in your heart and act upon it with courage, you are a sovereign force of nature that cannot be stopped, tracked, or defeated. Go out there today and live like a man who finally knows the truth. Defend your precious time. Build your bloodline like a fortress. Be the grit in the machine's gears that brings the whole thing to a grinding halt. Stay rugged. Stay vigilant. Stay completely, unapologetically sovereign until the very last sunset of your life. The message is out, the secret is revealed, and the fire of the frontier is lit once again. Andrew out.